Hello, everybody. Donald Brooks again. Hope everybody's doing fine. Today, we're going to get right to the point and we're going to talk about voter registration. And I'm going to call this episode How and Why to Vote. So let's get into the how first. You can vote by mail, and by voting by mail, you can register first by printing your voter registration form and filling it out and mailing it to your local election office. The second thing, of course, you can vote in person. I'm not going to go into that. So that's registering. Now, let's keep in mind some very important dates. Election day is Tuesday, November the 3rd. Keep that date in mind. I'm sure you won't forget that one. Everybody will be going to the polls. Election date, November the 3rd, Tuesday. The deadline to register by mail is November? No, I'm sorry, October the 5th. Of course, October. I almost said November. October the 5th is a deadline to register by mail. It must be postmarked that day. Remember that? It has to be postmarked that day, so you need to send it in before. The mail is slow, so we want to send that in. And the deadline to register in person is also October the 5th. Now, if you want to request a ballot by mail, if you want to have that sent to you, you have to do that by October the 23rd. That's the deadline. It must be received by that date. October 23rd. These dates are important. You miss one by one day, you're, up the creek, okay? Now, early voting runs from October the 13th. This is for early voting, which I think a lot of people are going to be doing. So those dates are October the 13th to Friday, October the 30th. That's for early voting. Okay, how about qualifying to vote? It's not that difficult. It's not that complicated. The first thing, you must be 18 to vote. Now, that's a little tricky because if you're 17 today, but you're going to be 18 before election day, you still can register to vote. So you 17-year-old who's getting ready to turn the big 18 by election day, please register. Okay, you have to register. You have to be a resident of the country to register. You know that. 18, a citizen. And another one that I'm not very familiar with, so I'm just going to give you what I know. Please look into it if it applies to you or a loved one of yours. If you are a felon, if you've been convicted of a crime, in most cases, oh, you know what I didn't say before I started this whole thing. This is for Texas. There are different criteria for different states. They're all basically the same, but this is for Texas. If you are listening to the Don Brooks show and you're from another state, forgive me, but this is for Texas. Okay, you have to be discharged if you're a felon or pardoned to vote. So please look into that if you are a felon or if you have a loved one or a friend or a relative that's a felon, okay? So that's about it as far as the qualifications. And you cannot vote online. Not in Texas. I don't know about other states. I think you can in some states, but in Texas you cannot vote online, okay? So I think we've taken care of the how to vote. Hopefully that was helpful to you. You probably knew most of those things. Now, why? Why to vote? Oh, I could go on and on. I'm just going to hit on what I consider the highlights on why to vote. It's your right. I'm not going to say duty, although you can say duty, but it's your right. And I think we should all exercise our rights by the Constitution and rights that are human rights. And one right afforded to all of us, our citizens that qualify, is to vote. So vote, vote, vote. I can't say it enough. So another reason why you should vote is people before us have died for voting. for the right to vote. People have shedded their blood, sweat, and tears. I know that's blood, sweat, and tears. That's also a cliche, and it's also the name of a rock and roll group. If you grew up in the 60s or 70s, they had one big hit. No, they had quite a few hits, but the one I liked was Spinning Wheel. Look it up, blood, sweat, and tears. Anyway, back to voting. That's not it. That was. Have y'all knows how I get off the subject sometimes when I think of stuff? Yeah, I do. But back to the point. Please vote. Please vote. People have died for that right, for your right to vote. You complain, but you don't vote. Let's do this. Let's agree on this, if nothing else. If we don't vote, let's not complain. Now, one last thing. This election is different from most elections, and I dare say that after election day, no matter who wins, there's going to be grumbling. People are going to be very upset. They're going to be questioning the results. But let me tell you this. Do not expect voting at the results of this election to cure all the ills in society in this country. They're too deep. What's the only thing that's going to cure these ills? Is love, the big L. I believe in love. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do a show on love. Nothing but love. Not next week, but in the coming weeks. I don't want you to miss that one. But right now, it's about voting. Please do it. See you next week. Bye-bye.